All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. I did keep it on. Is it not coming through? Can you still hear it? Get some of that Metal Gear ambiance going. Well, you know, had to do a sudden shift, title change, you know, thumbnail change. I had to do it on the fly because apparently I thought it was a joke when I saw it in the chat, but apparently Gears of War was just ultra casually announced for PlayStation. So I guess that's what we're going to be talking about today. And it seems like it's a remaster. We'll cover it. Apparently it was announced like 8 minutes ago. But yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. And thank you for being here. Thank you for waiting patiently for the intro. It was a little bit longer than normal. I do apologize for that. Hopefully you enjoyed the music though. There doesn't seem to be a blog post accompanied by it. There's just a tweet from Sony that I saw. So I'll go check the PS blog. Or maybe it's on the Xbox wire. Okay, yeah, here we go. So yeah, okay, now Microsoft is just casually announcing games on the on their blog post. Saying the bots are crying. I mean, there might be some people that are. I mean, surely they can't be surprised though, right? Like they can't actually be surprised. Xbox is working overtime to deliver games on PlayStation. Well, let's see here. Yeah, let me make sure I got everything. Okay, so they do have the blog post up on the Xbox Wire. We'll read that. Delwyn Jones with a super chat. And yeah, as you guys know, I was going to be talking about the idea of a PlayStation showcase happening this month, but we'll save that for tomorrow now. Delwyn, you're saying, MBG, have you ever watched Small Soldiers before? It's one of the best toy movies ever, and so many games have tried to be as good, but this hypercharged unboxed, made by just 5 developers, is simply unreal. Looks the best so far. Check it out. So actually, I know everything you're talking about. I did watch Small Soldiers when I was a kid, so I am familiar with that movie. And yeah, I really did like it when I was a kid. This game you're talking about, hypercharged unboxed, I watched the I don't know if it's a launch trailer, but the gameplay trailer that they released, and it does look good. And yeah, I remember seeing this game marketed for Xbox a while ago, and then they took the time to bring it over to PlayStation. And it does look very good, man. Like I don't know if I'm gonna end up buying it and playing it. It depends if I have the time, but yeah, it is an indie game, and it looks good, man. It looks good. So, Delwyn, thank you for letting me know, man. I'm assuming you're going to be playing it, Delwyn. I'm assuming it's going to be a day one buy for you. It does look very cool. And yeah, they do liken it to Small Soldiers, which is interesting. Wasn't Small Soldiers supposed to be like a major franchise, and it just never happened? So it didn't work. But, Delwyn, your next super chat, you got to tell me what you think about Gears on PlayStation. Because that's... So, here we go. Xbox Wire says Gears of War Reloaded comes to Xbox Series, Xbox PC, Xbox Cloud Gaming, PlayStation 5, and Steam in summer of 2025. No Switch. 2, interestingly enough. The original Gears of War returns, faithfully remastered and natively optimized for more platforms than ever before as Gears of War Reloaded. Gears of War Reloaded launches August 26th, 2025 for $40 US on, again, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox PC, Xbox Cloud Gaming, PlayStation 5, and Steam and arrives day one with Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass. It will feature Play Anywhere. It will support cross-play and cross-progression. Oh, cross-play? Oh, for co-op. I was going to say, wait, did they add the multiplayer? But, yeah, I guess they're talking about playing it cooperatively. Xbox fans who own the... Oh, here's an interesting one. Xbox fans who own the digital version of Gears of War Ultimate Edition receive a free upgrade. Well, there you go. That's some good shit right there. Good on Microsoft. I wouldn't expect them to do that. Gears of War Ultimate Edition came out a long-ass time ago, dude. That came out in, like, 2014 or something. So, that's like 11 years ago. And they're like, here you go. So, that's good stuff. Gears of War Reloaded is a celebration of one of gaming's most iconic franchises. You know, I'm going to bring the whole blog post up because they're showing some images and stuff. So, give me just a moment to bring that up. Is the Gears collection a lie? Yeah, something seems to have gotten lost in translation. Because people assumed it was, well, it wasn't even assumptions. There were insiders saying it was like a full collection. I think it's only the first game, yeah. Let me, yeah, let me bring this up. Just give me a moment. I don't know why it's not. It's always giving me problems, man. Here we go. Now I just gotta sort it out here. Just enjoy Boss chilling in the background, I guess. All right, so here we go. Just casually announced on May 5th. So, yeah, zoom in on this a little bit more. So, showing a couple of images here. Yeah, so it says Gears of War Reloaded is a celebration of one of gaming's most iconic franchises, featuring 4K resolution, 120 FPS support, and the ultimate multiplayer experience with cross-progression and cross-play across all platforms. This is the definitive way to experience the game that started it all. So, wow. They're even doing multiplayer. What? Yeah, I see you, Game Riot. You're saying it does include multiplayer. That's shocking. I gotta say, that's shocking. Games don't, like, remastered games don't do that. I thought it was just going to be co-op. They went all in. You know, that's very interesting when you think about it, because the original rumor was that it was going to be it was going to be like a collection of all three games, but with no multiplayer. And it's kind of the opposite. It's the first game with multiplayer included. Damn. Mr. IDG says, this is crazy. Also, tell Boss I said what's up. Yeah, sorry it's not a... Boss. He said, Mr. IDG says what's up. And Corey the Legend comes in and drops a 5-bomb on you guys. Corey is clearly doing it for Boss, because look at him. He's actually being peaceful for once. Corey, thank you so much for that, man.
I'm no hero. Never was. Never will be.
Sorry about that. My mic was muted. Corey, thank you so much for dropping membership gifts, man. Let's see if we can get that up to 25. If we do, we can give Boss a couple of treats. Which I know he'll be excited. I gave him a little bit of catnip. That's why he's probably chilled out. So let's see here. It says, as we approach the 20th anniversary of Gears of War, In 2026, we are reflecting on what this franchise means. It's about the stories we've told, the friendships we've built, and the unforgettable moments we've shared together. With Gears of War Reloaded, we're opening that door to more players than ever. A modern classic goes multi-platform. Originally released in 2006, Gears of War Reloaded brings the full experience forward once again, enhanced for the latest hardware across multiple platforms, introducing the Gears of War franchise to a new generation of players. Developed by the Coalition in partnership with Sumo Interactive and Disbelief, Gears of War Reloaded launches August 26, 2025 for $40 on Xbox consoles, PC, Xbox Cloud Gaming, PS5, and Steam, and arrives day one on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. And you can do play anywhere with Xbox Series consoles and PC. Gears of War Reloaded includes a full breadth of content from the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, delivering the most complete version of the original game to date. Players will gain immediate access to all post-launch downloadable content at no additional cost. This includes the bonus campaign act, all multiplayer maps and modes, and a full roster of classic characters and cosmetics unlockable through progression. Another screenshot. Built for Brotherhood, Gears of War Reloaded is built for shared play, whether you're teaming up in split screen or jumping online. The campaign supports 2-player co-op and versus multiplayer, allows up to 8 players with cross-play across all platforms. You and your friends can squad up no matter where you play. No Microsoft account required. So that's actually very interesting that they're saying no Microsoft account required for multiplayer, because they did just launch Forza Horizon 5, which did require the account. So I wonder if it's like if it's on a developer by developer basis where like they decide that. Very interesting. They say, however, signing in with a Microsoft account unlocks full cross-platform functionality. Oh, okay. Okay. I should have read that before I said that. It enables cross-progression, so your campaign and multiplayer progress carries across devices. It also allows you to send invites and play with friends across platforms like Xbox to PlayStation or Steam to Xbox. God damn. What this is crazy. This is crazy, bro. Like, it's just, wait, what am I reading right now? What happened? What timeline did we accidentally slip into? Just a year ago, we were covering like it's just 4 games. It's, you know, it's not going to be Starfield and Indiana Jones. We're straight up reading a blog post for like, yeah, you're going to be able to cross-play Gears of War with PS5, bro. I mean, it's pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. And Paul Ganell comes in and drops a 5-bomb on you guys. Paul's like, we're keeping the member train going. He brings us up to 10 memberships on the day. Paul, thank you so much for that, man. W's in the chat for Paul.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You know, I gotta say, like, it really is crazy the way they announced this, where I was just looking at my chat and they're like, bro, Gears of War was just announced for PlayStation. I'm like, okay. But then I was like, wait, what if it's not a lie? So I went to go check, and just the PlayStation Twitter accounts, just like, here you go, Gears of War Reloaded, coming to PS5 this August. And I'm like, what? Oh, dude, yeah. Lost Soul Aside's going to have to get delayed again or moved by a couple weeks, whether that be up or into October, because, like, goddamn, dude. Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm going to be playing Metal Gear. I mean, I would like to play this, but shit. Damn it. Kane Z7 says, whole slate. I mean, yeah. So, precision performance on every platform. No matter where you play, Gears of War Reloaded has been re-engineered to look and feel incredible. Players can expect 4K resolution, 60 FPS in campaign, 120 FPS in multiplayer, HDR, Dolby Vision, and 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos, 7.1.4 3D spatial audio, VRR, 4K assets and remastered textures, enhanced post-processing visual effects, improved shadows and reflections, super resolution with improved anti-aliasing, and 0 loading screens during campaign. There's no way they mentioned the PS5 Pro in this blog post. That would be, there's just no chance. From faster frame rates to deeper visual fidelity, every detail has been tuned to bring the original game into the present with clarity, smoothness, and immersion that matches the power of today's hardware. And whether you play and wherever you play, we're meeting you there with the best version possible. Gears of War Reloaded includes platform-specific features that make the most of the hardware you already own to deliver a world-class Gears of War experience. Bro, they're like, all right, listen, we got to let them know it's PS5 Pro Enhanced, but we can't actually word it that way. That's crazy. So, faithful to the original, optimized for today, and made for everybody. For Xbox fans, a thank you. As a token of our gratitude for longtime fans, Gears of War Reloaded will be a free upgrade for players who purchase the digital version of Gears of War Ultimate Edition prior to today's announcement. Good shit, dude. Got to give Microsoft a massive W on this one. I know people were like on my case yesterday for being harsh on them, but this is how it's done, dude. This is how it's done. Sony, this is what you're supposed to be doing with God of War, bro. Like, what the fuck? That's crazy, though. That is crazy. That's a W for Microsoft. I gotta say, a little extra on top for Microsoft giving this as a free upgrade for anybody who bought the original, dude. Like, that's actually very cool. Sony, take some notes here, bro. Take some notes. For real. Microsoft gets the W, Xbox gets the L. I mean, I imagine there are some people, that are like maybe salty about this, but I don't know, dude. Even if I was like a primary Xbox player, like, can you really be mad at this announcement? Like, I'll put it to you this way: if this was like reverse or something, you know, and it was like Sony coming out and being like, we remastered this game, we're going to drop it on Xbox. I mean, it would be shocker, like, holy shit, but fuck, man. If they're like, here's a free upgrade, it's free for you if you bought it. I'm like, oh, well, damn, dude, all right. And Hellbound 1981, another legend, comes in. He's keeping the member train rolling today. He drops another 5 memberships, bringing us up to 15 on the day. Hellbound, thank you so much for that, man. We are now 10 away. 10 away. How stacked must their June showcase be if they're announcing this now? That's what I was thinking that. I'm like, bro, this is just a casual blog post announcement. This feels like something that absolutely could have been reserved for the showcase that's coming up. So you do have to wonder, like, what the hell? What the hell do they got coming? I mean, dude, it's crazy. It's wild times. I mean, it makes you wonder, like, will they do the same thing for Halo? They're just like, here's Halo. Just like a blog post. Like, here's Halo on PlayStation, guys. That's very cool, though. I gotta say, man, like, I'm not like the biggest Gears of War fan. I always liked Gears of War. Always struggled with the multiplayer, though. I'm not gonna lie. So it's like, it's interesting they're bringing the multiplayer back. I wonder, I don't know. The campaign was always fun. I always liked the Gears of War universe, but it's, you know, we went from, you know, seeing Gears of War E-Day announced last year, like, oh shit, yeah, man, that looks pretty good, to like, now it's like, well, guess what, buddy? Buckle up. I mean, surely this means E-Day is coming day one, right? And Delwyn Jones with another generous super chat. Thank you, Delwyn. Says, Gears of War isn't my cup of tea, but this is a big W for Xbox. PlayStation Studios should be ready to show really what it's all about, and whether if it's a PlayStation Showcase or State of Play show, doesn't matter. I believe we should hear soon. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, man. Like, Microsoft's holding what I assume will be a massive showcase on June 8th. Because, like, the fact that they're coming out here, dropping this on a freaking blog post, it tells me that they probably have a big show planned, because this easily would have been a big winner at their showcase. And you know, Sony's probably doing something around that time too. I don't know. Could Microsoft show up at Xbox's show? And Dragon Knight comes in and drops another 5 membership gifts for you guys. Dragon Knight wants to keep the train rolling today. He brings us up to 20 members. Dragon Knight's like, you got Gears of War fans going crazy right now. Dragon Knight, thank you for that, buddy. So we're just 5 away from hitting our goal, and we can feed the beast. Yeah, I was under the impression that something like Gears of War, it's not, at this point, it's not shocking to see that it's coming to PlayStation or that, you know, there is a remaster. The two things that I'm shocked about are them just abruptly out of nowhere announcing it, but also that they're doing the multiplayer. So I assume that this is a setup for Gears of War E-Day, right? Because Gears of War E-Day is a prequel to Gears of War 1, and Gears of War Reloaded is obviously Gears of War 1. And I think that they want PlayStation players to get a little taste of it, or a big taste of it, I guess you could say. And Corey the Legend comes in and dunks it, bro. He drops another 5 memberships for you guys, crushing the goal, absolutely obliterating it. Corey, thank you so much, man. There's a reason why we call you the Legend. And, yeah, we'll see if we can keep that going, guys. By all means. We are doing a members lounge today, by the way. I forgot to mention that earlier. The members lounge is coming back. We're going to be doing that after today's show wraps up. And we'll give Boss some treats. PlayStation has both GOW games now. I mean, I'll be honest, man. You know, Sony has to take some notes here. I got to be honest. You know, this is why it frustrates me. You know, people try to make it sound like I'm not critical towards Sony or like I don't ever give criticism towards Sony. But, you know, the God of War 20th anniversary rolled around and we got, you know, there were rumors for weeks and weeks about there's going to be a God of War collection, some kind of God of War remaster, and nothing. We just, you know, we didn't get any of that. And you know, instead it's like, here's The Last of Us complete. And, you know, I like Days Gone remastered. I'm happy Days Gone got remastered. I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad more people are enjoying it. But I just feel like Gears of War is a classic, bro. And Microsoft's giving it the proper treatment. Sony, this is where I feel like this is how you do it, man. Like, this is the template. I'm not saying they have to, like, release it on Xbox or go multi-platform, per se. I'm just saying, like, take a classic game, give it the proper treatment, hype it up. With it, you know, drop it in a blog post to be like, here you go, guys, it's coming in a couple months, and make it a free upgrade, you know, for the people who, if you're able to, if it makes sense. If it was like purchased in the PS3 era or something, I mean, maybe that's not possible, but I don't know, man. I think that this is a really, really good way that Microsoft handled this, and quite a nice surprise. Like, if you're a Gears of War fan, dude, you probably just fucking fell out of your chair with this announcement, you know? Like, I'm not even a huge Gears of War fan, and even I'm hyped. Like, so I don't know, I'm hyped. I don't know why I'm this hyped. It's like, damn, dude, it's just very cool to see. I mean, I guess a part of it is because it's really cool to see it coming to PlayStation. Like, it's just it's crazy, you know. Forza Horizon 5 was a major announcement for a game, you know, a Microsoft game coming to PlayStation. It was like the first major pillar title, and now just like that, they're like, oh, by the way, here's Gears of War. It's like, shit, dude. Nicodemus, you're saying going to play Gears on the best box, the PS5 Pro. Dude, they pretty much confirmed that it will be Pro enhanced in so many words. They said here at the bottom, they said, wherever you play, we're meeting you there with the best version possible. Gears of War Reloaded includes platform-specific features that make the most of the hardware you already own. So it does, like, I'm reading that as a PlayStation 5 Pro owner. I'm reading that as, well, if you're releasing on PlayStation, you probably have some Pro enhancements there. You know? Wow. Let me go see. They're spit shining it. Did they slip in the new phrasing Xbox PC? They did. They did, yeah. I noticed that too. They're calling it Xbox PC now. By the way, guys, if you could do me a favor, if you haven't, take a moment and hit that like button. It really helps the streams. Let me go check what some of the replies are saying on the post on PlayStation. Day one, nice. Prepare for tears. Oh, I'm sorry, boss. He's like, bro, where are my treats? People are hyped, man. This guy underneath says PlayStation is literally an everything box right now. Gears of War on PlayStation. I guess Halo's up next. Strange era of gaming we're in. After all these years, it's safe to say that PlayStation has won the console war. All right. I said I never thought I'd see the day. This remaster sounds great. Wow. I still feel like I'm in a little bit of shock with this, bro. Nintendo. I am a little bit surprised that there's no Switch 2 version announced. I wonder if that's just because I don't know, like it's just not possible to run it on the Switch 2, maybe. Not entirely sure. Let me see. I'm trying to see what some Xbox players are saying. Of course, any other time I go on Twitter, it'll show me all the fanboys and everything they're saying. And then the one time I'm like going on it while I'm live, like literally nothing shows up. It's $40. $40, which is another awesome thing. I mean, $40, it seems like it's getting, I mean, geez, man. From what I could tell, it looks like they're giving it the treatment. They're giving it the full treatment. Nintendo might have rules about when third parties announced. Horde mode was fun with friends, but I really hope they did something to fix the movement so it's not as clunky. It's been a long time since I played Gears 1, dude. Long time. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect in that regard. No Switch 2 version as of now. There will be multiplayer. Yes. They confirmed there will be multiplayer. There will be cross-play, cross-progression, multiplayer. So that's actually the one thing they didn't mention, if there's a physical version or if it's digital only. I don't have an answer for that at the moment. For now, if you want to play it safe, just assume it's digital only, because that's the direction that Microsoft's been going in. And yeah, man, I don't know. You would think, considering how big Gears of War is, they would do a physical version, but I don't know. They didn't do a physical version for Forza Horizon 5. Are pre-orders live? I don't think they're live yet. I go check. No, I don't think they're live just yet. I don't know if they're going to go live today. Halo next. I mean, yeah, Halo does seem like it's the next one on the docket, man. Maybe that's what they're saving for the showcase. I like Gears of War much more than I like Halo. Although I do think Halo is overall the more popular Xbox title. But I do like Gears of War better. MBG, hear me out. Now that Xbox games are on PlayStation, the two should combine showcases into one. I mean, that would be bad only for the fact that any Xbox player who tunes in, it's like they're going to see games that they're not getting. You know what I mean? Like that I feel like that would be a problem. Because like if you think about it, like Microsoft, Sony, like let's do a showcase together. Here's like a couple of Xbox games. They're going everywhere. And here's a Sony game that is not like, sorry, it's not releasing on Xbox, you know? Sumo Interactive devs for Sackboy is on the remaster. Oh yes, they did do that. Yeah, I guess we'll see, man. The screenshots look pretty good. 2, 3, and 4 will follow the same price equals money. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. They're gonna remaster each one individually, maybe sell them $40 a pop. Again, Sony, you could do that too. Sony could have done this with Killzone 1 or 2, maybe. Could have done it with Resistance. They could do this. They could do something just like this. But Xbox is telling them to buy a PlayStation anyway. I mean, yeah. Is the background music Final Fantasy VII? It's actually Metal Gear Solid 1. Which, yeah, I don't know. Corey requested that earlier, and I was like, all right, yeah, we'll do some Metal Gear. Do some Metal Gear music. You guys seem to like it. Seems to, help a little bit with the stream. You're a big fan of these $40 prices. Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, we talk about, we've been talking a lot about $80 games, the prices going up. But something that does seem pretty clear to me is that, like, even though we are seeing games being put, like the newly released bigger AAAs from like Nintendo and now Microsoft and I guess eventually Sony, whenever they want to get on board with that. Day one new AAA games are seemingly going to be $80, but we are seeing this kind of, I would say, versatility with pricing, where I think more than ever we're seeing $40 games, $50 games, $60 games. Like we're just seeing, I think, more publishers and developers more willing to kind of just price a game at a point that it doesn't have to make it so that $80 is like a standard or $70 is a standard. I think it's safe to say that that will be the standard for the new, really big, highly produced AAA games. But it is also, it's nice to see a lot of other different types of games coming out at different price points. Like you look at Clair Obscur Expedition at $50, and like that's a steal. I will tell you straight up, if you buy that game for $50, that's a steal, considering the type of content it's offering or the amount. Yeah, that's the next thing. We're talking about remasters. Konami, where's Metal Gear Collection Volume 2, man? We need that MGS4 with multiplayer, bro. See, this is why I'm a little bit jealous. I got to be honest. I'm a little bit jealous of this announcement because, like, I wish I was a bigger Gears of War. Like, I wish I was like a huge Gears of War fanatic, because this announcement has to be like the dream. Because I think about certain games like Metal Gear Solid 4 or something, or we talk about Metal Gear Delta. You get like this really good remaster, and it includes multiplayer, bro. And I'm like, that never happens. That never happens. So, Gears is a man's game. Konami won't pay for the servers. Yeah, they only will if you're willing to pay for another character slot. That was the craziest stuff that Konami did, dude, with Metal Gear Online. And I think they did it with Metal Gear Online for MGS5, where they're like, you want a second character slot, you got to pay for it. Like, what? Or like a save slot or whatever. It's like, are you out of your minds? The answer is yes, they were out of their minds. Give us Gears 2. I do wonder where those rumors came from. There were multiple rumors that there was a Gears collection that was coming, like all 3 games. So I wonder if they maybe changed their mind and they want to do it like one game at a time, or maybe they're just going to stick with one, and then they're going to do Gears of War E-Day next year, and then after that, maybe they'll do like 2 and 3 or whatever. I could see them doing it that way. You think 2 will come early 2026? Yeah, so my assumption was that the collection rumors for Gears of War made more sense because there was no multiplayer. Reportedly, there was no multiplayer. And I'm like, well, yeah, because they want to save the multiplayer for Gears of War E-Day. That's going to be their big multiplayer Gears of War live service offering. But now that they're coming out this August with a multiplayer component for Gears of War, I mean, yeah, maybe like what you're saying, they're laying the groundwork where, like, I'm assuming Gears of War Reloaded is the multiplayer is not going to be treated like a live service. It's just going to kind of be like what multiplayer used to be, more traditional multiplayer, but, get people, get them in the door, get them prepared for E-Day, maybe. Yeah, crazy times, dude. So I see there are like new people joining the stream. Gears of War Reloaded is just Gears of War 1 remastered with multiplayer. Take this all day over marathon. Oof. Yeah, that's... Wow. Meanwhile, let me see. Let me go on Naughty Dog posting a behind. Here's a clip from the Last of Us Part 2 HBO podcast. Like, Jesus Christ. Okay. When does it drop? August 29th, I believe, or 26th. 26th. August. Oh my God, that's the same day as Metal Gear, isn't it, bro? Oh. Arc Raider. Dude, you know what's interesting? Sony can't catch a break, bro. I'm seeing that. Everything I'm seeing about Arc Raiders, people are saying, like, this is going to be the best multiplayer game of the year. And Arc Raiders is an extraction shooter. And I'm like, Sony, buy them. Whoever they are, buy them. There you go. Oh, wait, is Metal Gear the 28th? Is it the 28th? I thought it was the 26th. No, it's the 26th, dude. Which actually, hold on. If you get the digital version, the digital deluxe, you get it early. So, yeah, hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you get the digital deluxe version of Snake Eater, if you get the digital deluxe, August 26th. If you get the regular version, it's August 28th. They're gonna get me. I'm not even gonna. They're gonna get me, bro. I'm not trying to go digital or anything, but it's like, bro, I can't sit there for 2 days and not play Metal Gear. I can't do that. I can't do it. It's double dip. Yeah, I mean that's that. They make it so tough because it's like, man, double dip. You're paying double the price. Arc Raiders is on console. The alpha's going on. Yeah, I've been seeing gameplay all over for it. Is it the same for the collector's edition? I would assume. Yeah, it would be very bizarre if they're like, if you bought the collector's edition, you don't though. Take a closer look at these screenshots. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's definitely a remaster though. Like I will say the important thing when looking at this Gears of War game, it doesn't look like it's getting. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I don't think people are going to be looking at the graphical fidelity of Gears of War Reloaded and being like as blown away as what they saw with, say, something like Oblivion. It does look really good though. But to be fair, Gears of War was a really good looking game. It was, I mean, Gears of War was one of those games where, like, when it came out during 360, people were like, holy shit, this is one of the most insanely good-looking games I've ever seen. It does remind me of MGS4 in that way, where I remember when MGS4 came out on the PS3, it was like, bro, this game looks, like, so far away from, like, every other game. Why does it look this good? Delwyn says we're eating good. We are eating good, man. Canada banned Twitter? What? Corey, is this true? Why am I seeing somebody saying Canada banned Twitter? Yo, wait, guys. Speaking of Canada, did anybody see that picture that the White House tweeted yesterday of Trump with a red lightsaber and really buff arms? Like, I almost cringed to death, bro. Like, oh my God. Jesus. Like I said, wild times we're living in, bro. Absolutely wild times we are living in. The Trump Pope. Yeah, oh man. Dude, I'm not kidding. That was a real picture that the White House tweeted out. It was like an AI image. Gears plus PS5 haptics for the best experience. Ooh. Did we get to the Gears topic? Yeah, we're still talking about. I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, we'll probably talk about some other stuff too, but this was like breaking news. They announced this as soon as I went live. So I'll keep... The red lightsaber, bro. Republicans, not the Sith. Republicans, not the Sith. Xbox is dead. Green Ninja says Xbox is dead. I mean, Microsoft's just, they're like, here, man. Play it where you want. Play it where you want. The remaster will be free for Game Pass and the owners of the Ultimate Edition. Yep. Well, I mean, it's not, I guess it's free in Game Pass, technically. If depends on how you're still paying for Game Pass. But no, if you did buy... See, this is where, like, I want to make sure I'm highlighting that Microsoft needs to get a lot of credit for this. They do. And this is where it's like, Sony, I hope you, like, pay attention. This is where you should be paying attention. Microsoft announced as, like, a thank you to all the fans of Gears of War, if you own the... And I want to clarify if they... I'll read it in their words. I don't want to... They say here, as a token of our gratitude for longtime fans, Gears of War Reloaded will be a free upgrade for players who purchase the digital version prior to today's announcement of Gears of War Ultimate Edition. So the one thing I will tell you is if you are it sounds like if you're a physical owner, if you have a physical copy of Gears of War Ultimate Edition, you're kind of shit out of luck because they explicitly say the digital version. But still, that's a very cool thing, man. And we need to see Sony doing more shit like that. It does suck if you bought the physical version, though. So like if you're that person, you it's basically like a kick to the groin. Quite the opposite, but Josh, you're saying you're very happy about this. You loved Gears, bought a slim Xbox for it. Sold it afterwards. Gears was huge, man. On the blog, they put in the title XboxPC. They just confirmed the next console. Yeah, somebody else mentioned that. They're using that terminology, XboxPC. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they said Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Xbox PC, and Steam. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't think of it from that angle of like that's basic, like they're essentially describing the next console, because that's exactly what the next console is rumored to be, basically a PC console hybrid. Xbox PC, bro. Yo, remember I told you guys, Sony, you want to get more involved in PC, just make the PlayStation PC. You think nobody's buying it? Oh, you're talking about the next console. Yeah, I think it's going to be a struggle for them to sell it in volume. Yeah, that's what I initially thought. When they said Xbox PC, I'm thinking about the Xbox app that you can open on PC. The only Xbox game that almost won me over was my first run through of Dead Space. Dead Space is a great game. Yeah, absolutely. Did they say when? Josh, if you're asking like when Gears is launching, so Gears of War Reloaded is launching August 26th. And the only platform it's currently not announced for is Nintendo. A Max Payne 3 remaster? Oh, I would buy that. I would absolutely buy that. Let me see. So E-Day is trending. Well, yeah, I think it's safe to say that Gears of War E-Day is going to be a 2026 game. I think it's safe to say that. Sorry, I'm just... So, okay. It is confirmed to be PS5 Pro Enhanced. It's up now. You can wish list Gears of War Reloaded on PS5. And it is confirmed to be PS5 Pro Enhanced. It will have DualSense support, trigger effects, and haptic feedback. Online play optional. PlayStation Plus will be required if you do want to play online. They have 1 to 2 player co-op. Up to 8 players online. So it's already up there. Yeah. It's there on the PlayStation Store. Pre-order's not live. Wish listing is live. Good shit. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to play this. I don't know. I guess I'll see how it goes because there's just a major problem where, like, the timing of it, man. At least for me, where it's like Metal Gear is going to consume my life for a little while. Going to consume my life, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to balance that out. Chris is like, wait, what's on the PlayStation Store? Gears of War, bro. Gears of War Remastered. You can wishlist it now on PlayStation. The best place to play Xbox games is on the PS5 Pro. Yikes. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think what Microsoft's trying to do is make it so that, listen, if you're an Xbox fan, celebrate the games, not the hardware necessarily. And it is a little bit awkward for I think certain Xbox players because it's like, well, you know, Microsoft was kind of the one who started the whole power thing with like the teraflops and whatnot, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, and you know, halfway through this gen, they're just like, you know what, we're not going to do a mid-gen. And then Sony still did. And then on top of that, Microsoft's like, we're going to release our games on PlayStation. And part of that is, yeah, we're going to enhance these games on the Pro. It is, I think, awkward for some Xbox players. There's no way around that. But how big of a deal it has to be. I mean, look, man, it's like, how many people am I going to want to turn to and be like, LOL, like, PS5 Pro players have the best version of Gears of War? Like, I mean, the people who are gonna get upset by that are people that I don't even want to engage with. You know what I mean? Like, they're people that I don't even want to. Because I'm trying to look at this as like, you know, there doesn't have to be any ill will here. Yeah, I mean, and that's like technically, if you want the best version, like truly the best version, you could play it on a maxed out PC, right? Or max PC settings. Crackdown 3 is coming, bro. Chris just got it. He's like, yo. Michael Lynch, a member for 21 months, says now about that Ori PlayStation game. Oh, yeah, I forgot about those games. I could see that happening. Yeah, the Ori games. People really like those. Sunset Overdrive. I don't think Sunset Overdrive's ever happening. Sony technically owns that now, I think. Sony owns the Sunset Overdrive IP. Chris is losing it. He's like, bro. He just woke up to the news. I think where the the twist of the knife, if you want to put it that way, comes in for Xbox specific players, like people who play on the Xbox console, is like there was never supposed to be a reality where Microsoft is announcing a game from their studios and saying that the PlayStation console version is the best version, like in the console space. I like there's no denying that there's a little bit of a twist of a knife there, but I don't know, man. If I were an Xbox player at this point, I couldn't be upset, just because it's like, yeah, we saw this coming, right? The time to be upset was like maybe last year when Phil Spencer did that interview or whatever, or the podcast. That was like the time to be upset and be like, guys, what are you doing? Like, this is antithetical to everything you've built up. That was the time, but it's been over a year since that. Multiple games were released. Xbox and PlayStation players are currently playing Forza Horizon 5 together. Like, I don't know if Sony's ever going to go down this road, but it's just like we only see one of the big three right now doing it, that being Microsoft. And I don't know, man. It's hard. This doesn't feel like something that I should turn around to like those groups of Xbox players, those vocal minority, and be like, LOL, we're going to have fun playing your game on the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro is going to be the best version. And then, cope and seed and whatever. Like, you know what? I'm just going to be honest, like, fuck those guys. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Like, Microsoft has moved on, and now we're moving on. Where it's like, let's just get with it, right? Like, they ripped the Band-Aid off. This is the decision they made. They're multi-platform. They're embracing PlayStation. They're going to do good numbers on PlayStation and make good money. PlayStation players are going to be happy. And, it's just like, if you're somebody who wants to stick with Xbox, like from the console perspective, you go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, you won't be able to get around the fact that the best console version of Xbox games are now going to be on PlayStation. And that doesn't have to chap your ass, though. You're welcome to just say, who gives a shit? And that's fine. I'm saying that's what I would do. If I still preferred to play on Xbox, the console, and I saw this, I would just, my feelings ultimately be like, whatever, bro. If I'm not going to go to PlayStation, then I don't give a shit. I'm just going to enjoy it where I'm going to enjoy it. Just saying, man. What reality did I just jump into that PS5 Pro enhanced Gears of War? We'll just grin and say, good game, bots. Microsoft must have saw I was getting upset yesterday. They're like, whoa, we're losing MBG again, bro. He's starting to get upset. We got to drop something right now. And they're like, quick, drop the Gears of War PS5 Pro enhanced remaster or whatever. Oh, yeah, I mean, dude, if they want to reach out to me for Gears of War, I'd be all over that for sure. Yeah, I'd love to cover that. But, it's going to have to give fair warning. Like, I'm going to be in Metal Gear mode, bro. I'm going to be in Metal Gear mode. God, I can't wait for our Metal Gear. We're so close, but still so far. What's great is we can play in more places now and we don't have to compromise too much. Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's just the console wars are over. Forza Horizon 5, I think, was the first domino. But what did I say? What did I say recently? I said the first domino to fall, really, like majorly fall and start the chain reaction was it was Forza. And I said next it's going to be Gears, and then next it's going to be Halo. And, I'll be honest, man, at this point, when Halo is announced, it's like, it's not even going to, I'm not going to say it's not a big deal, but it's just like, it just feels like, and it's complete. It is done. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much else really. So when the next mainline Halo game is announced for PlayStation, it's not going to be like a, who could have seen this coming moment. It'll still be like, holy shit. Like, it's still like, wow. The next mainline Halo dropping day one on PS5 and PS5 Pro. That's nuts. Maybe PS6 at this point, right? but you know, it's not going to be like what we're seeing today. This definitely feels like another domino falling, though. Josh Ziva Super Chat says, this is like when the Browns moved to Baltimore and won the Super Bowl with that same team their first year. Yeah, bro. That is a very solid analogy, man. Forza was the big one. Well, I mean, Forza Horizon 6 is going to get announced at some point. Maybe this year. Maybe it's going to get announced this year. That's going to be day one PS5. Gears of War E-Day. I assume we'll see that at the upcoming Xbox Showcase. That's going to be day one PS5. And, you know, I think next they'll do Master Chief Collection. That'll be on PlayStation. And then whenever the next mainline Halo game is announced, that'll probably be announced day one PS5. So, I mean, they really just, you know, are there many people playing Forza on PlayStation? I mean, it seems like a good amount are. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know if they got like 500,000 players, over 1 million players, a couple million players. I don't know. Hanzo, that's cursed. I don't like that, man. Hanzo, that's also cursed. Hanzo, stop saying things in the chat. I think the final nail will be when the new Halo game is launched day one on PS5. Well, let's dig a little bit deeper here. Let's dig a little bit deeper here. All right. So we talked about the announcement, talked about our excitement for it. I feel like there's something I'm observing. I'm like, you know, I'm watching everything that's going on, and there's an observation I want to make here, and that's, I wonder, like, Microsoft is beginning to completely and utterly dominate the conversation around games. Like, does anybody notice this happening? Because I'm definitely noticing it. Now I want to say, like, people aren't talking about other games. They are. But it's like, when I think about it from the perspective of at least PlayStation, I just wonder how so, like, there's still that lingering question where, like, how much does, like, is there a play here? I'm just wondering, man. They have the most studios, so it makes sense. It does. But I'm just saying, like, if Microsoft was betting, like, think of it like this. Microsoft is, if we just tear down all the walls, right? No more exclusivity, no more special treatment. It's just, we're going to start being everywhere. We're going to take all of our games and we're going to start being everywhere. Every one of our studios is going to be a multi-platform studio. Every one of our IPs is going to be multi-platform. There was obviously the initial, like, well, people are going to freak out. People are going to freak out when you do that. But it's like, no. They're going to freak out for a couple minutes. And then as more time goes by, everybody's actually going to be excited. And it's just going to be a positive conversation. Like, like, there's not going to be really any negativity anymore. And it's going to get to a point where the only people that are being negative are literally, like, the less than 1% that nobody wants to hear from. Because they're just, you know, they're fine. They're like living in the past or whatever. And it's interesting with this Gears of War announcement because it's like, you know, just a week and a half ago it was Oblivion. Just a week ago it was Forza. Now this week it's Gears. I mean, next week it's going to be Doom. And then just 2 weeks after that, it's going to be the Xbox Showcase. Or 2.5 weeks. I mean, yeah, they're flooding the zone, dude. And I don't know. It's interesting to witness because it's like Sony is benefiting from it too. So I don't know. Really interesting stuff. I'm trying to just observe it from from the standpoint of like, not necessarily competition, but just the strategy that Microsoft is implementing is something that is on a scale I don't think we've seen before. And the threat is non-existent to PlayStation because PlayStation is also probably making money. Like, think about it like this. If Microsoft is the biggest third-party publisher on PlayStation, that means Sony's making the most money from any... Like, they're making more money on Microsoft than they are any other publisher. Probably even their own studios. That's... I mean, it's just crazy to think of it from that perspective, where it's like, holy shit, dude. We really are in a crazy place. I mean, this is the closest thing. People have talked for years about Sony and PlayStation like joining forces. This is quite literally almost that. This is almost that, dude. Gears of War remastered, PS5 Pro enhanced. And then Sony's like, here's Ghost of Yotei as well. And Death Stranding, right? It's crazy times. Crazy times. Like, I'm still trying to process it all. Xbox is actually taking the pressure off PlayStation. Easy Tone. You're saying, have you discussed that Death Stranding 2 is keeping the $70 price between that and Yotei? PlayStation hasn't raised games yet. How long will that hold? We did talk about this yesterday. Virgil, really quick. Absolutely not. I would not have believed you. No. I would assume you're a troll from the future. But Easy Tone, we did talk about Sony keeping the price point of Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding 2. And I do think this is very significant because at the very least, what it tells me is that they're not raising the prices this year. Because if they were going to raise the prices this year, Ghost of Yotei, I think, would be $80. Now, that could change. I want to make it clear, like, Sony can do whatever they want. If they want to announce next week, we're going to price these games at $80. It just complicates things because people already pre-ordered them. So it's like they would have to keep the pre-order prices, but then anybody who didn't pre-order is going to have to pay $80. So it would create a pretty complicated situation for them. My guess, truthfully, is going to be Sony's going to join the $80 club with the PS6. I say this because it's kind of like, okay, if Call of Duty is going to be $80, if Fable is going to be $80, if Forza Horizon 6 is going to be $80, these games are going to be sold for $80 on PlayStation. That's more money for Sony and Microsoft. But like Sony's getting the 30% rip from $80 is higher than a 30% rip from $70. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I think Sony could conceivably, comfortably just stick to the $70 for the next 3 years. And then when they roll out the PS6, by that point, people will be very well acclimated to $80 on games, you would assume. And they'll be, if you think about it, there'll be like but there will be very minimal pushback. If anything, people will be like, oh, well, I'm surprised you waited this long. People might be thankful that they waited for the PS6 before to do something like that. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe they'll do it as soon as next year. Maybe, who knows? Listen, Sony's doing their earnings report in like 2 weeks. Or sorry, like a week from now. And, they could announce it then. They could do what Microsoft is doing, where it's like later, starting next year, starting in 2026. It's going to be $80. You could make the argument that now would be the time to do it. Just get it, rip the Band-Aid off, get it out of the way, do exactly what Microsoft did, just say it'll be coming next year. And then boom, 2026 rolls around, Soros comes out, it's $80. You get some people who are like, why is it $80? It's like, bro, they announced that shit last year. I don't know. I think it's gonna happen, but when the ball's in Sony's court right now. Yep. The PlayStation Store listing for Gears is PS5 Pro enhanced. Darkland22 says, if you can't beat them, join them. Would you agree, MBG? I mean, that's a very well-known saying, and I mean, I feel like it's contextual. It depends on the context. In the context of the console war, I'm not complaining. You know? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, an alternate reality where Microsoft got dead serious and games like Oblivion, games like Gears of War, games like, all these upcoming games, like, they're all going to be exclusive, and Microsoft's trying to aggressively rip people away from PlayStation. It would make, I have to admit that it would make for a much more interesting conversation in terms of, like, you know, people getting heated, people arguing who's doing better, who's doing a better job fighting for your dollar, you know, who's winning you over, who's turning the tide, what, you know, stuff. Those conversations were always, and still are, people still like to have those conversations. They were always very interesting. And the competition, I would say, kept the conversations, while volatile at times, certainly volatile, interesting, and always kind of like on the verge of, like, you know, the next announcement could tip the scales at any moment, and the summer showcases could be the big turning point for one of these companies. But the alternate reality that we're currently living in is you're going to be on PlayStation, you're going to be able to play Death Stranding, Forza Horizon 5, Ghost of Yotei, Gears of War, and eventually GTA 6. And it's like, yeah, I can't complain. Like, I cannot complain about that. That's only good for me as somebody who wants to play on PlayStation. You know? If the only negative is, like, well, you're going to have to pay for those games, it's like, well, all right. I mean, that's how I've been doing this the whole time. You know? I've been paying for my games. I've been buying my games. Now, granted, I've been getting some codes recently, which is nice, but yeah, it's nothing. It's not one of those things where it's like, whoa, you know, what do you mean I gotta buy my games? And yeah, from Sony's perspective, I mean, there's a reason why you see Sony announcing this, right? There's a reason why you see Sony marketing these Xbox games, because it's like, bro, it's just free money for them. It's just free money. Sony's not lifting a finger, and they're going to be raking in a good chunk of change. If anything, like, I want you to keep this in mind. Last year, when Black Myth Wukong launched and Sony did their earnings, they literally highlighted that Black Myth Wukong gave us the biggest boost. Like, that game basically was the difference maker between us having a good fiscal quarter or not. And this is why, like, you better believe Sony is like, we want these games to do numbers. Like, we want Gears of War to sell like crazy on our platform. They absolutely do. We got Knight of Cypher with a super chat. He says, imagine a future where people talk about games, not console wars. You can pick up a box and play, and there are no boundaries. We're getting closer, dude. The utopia. The utopia where there are no console wars. It does feel like we are there, though. Like, what you just described is the next Xbox. The real question is if Sony's going to hang on to exclusivity. And I think they will, because of Nintendo. I do think that. I think Sony, and when I say exclusivity, I mean like, there's some people who think that Sony's going to see what Microsoft is doing and be like, we should do that too. But it wouldn't really make much sense for Sony to do that, because, well, Nintendo still exists. Nintendo's never going to give up exclusivity. And the Switch 2 might not be the biggest threat to PlayStation, but believe me when I tell you, if Sony were to completely give up all exclusivity just overnight like Microsoft is, I think that's going to empower Nintendo a little too much. At least for now. At least for now. Oh yeah, dude. Oh my God, bro. Mafia: The Old Country. I forgot about that. and that's coming out also the first week of August, apparently. This is what I'm talking. Like, why? I think people say we're eating good. It's like I'm eating too much. Okay, I can only eat so fast. I can only eat so much. Illegal Monkey with a super chat says Xbox desperately coping, saying PlayStation is dead without Xbox games. Fact is, Xbox flew too close to the sun. Now they are spiraling into the ocean, dumping cargo, in quotes, games to Sony in an attempt to level out. That's an interesting analogy. They flew too close to the sun. So I want to let's take a moment here to acknowledge something, Illegal Monkey. See, I had a bit of a crash out, as the kids put it these days. I feel like that term just popped up out of nowhere. Everybody calls it a crash out now. What are these terms that people are using? Glazing, crash out. I'm like, can we just not? But anyway, crash out's not that bad. The glazing, I can't stand that term. Oh my God. We need to come up with a better term. Blowing smoke. Brown nosing. I mean, okay, you know what? I'm not going to lie. Brown nosing's pretty bad. Maybe, okay, so I'm getting very distracted right now, but glazing versus brown nosing, I think brown nosing's actually worse. Squelching, I mean, the definition of the word squelching, I don't think lines up with anything we're saying. Okay, rimming, all right. Hanzo, I like it. I like it. It's so bad, but it's good. Cocking. Shilling. Stop rimming them so hard. Oh, that's bad. That is definitely worse than glazing. But be a med, bro. Illegal Monkey, I'm sorry. Got very distracted here. Felted. Oh man. Dillo, bro, just no subtlety whatsoever. That's what we should use. I'm not going to say it, but what Dillo typed, that's what we should do. We should just go with that term. Rim. You know what? I'm going to stop because I may have a family member listening to this right now. So we're just going to move on. Illegal Monkey, let me get back to your super chat. I'm so sorry. He's probably like, bro, how? I had a bit of a crash out yesterday, as they call it. And I still make this mistake, Illegal Monkey. I still make this mistake where, because of what I do here on my channel, on the internet, I encounter a lot, or what seemed to be a lot. In that case, it could be 10, it could be 30, it could be less than 30. But it feels like a lot, where I see all these different replies, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be on a YouTube video comment, maybe somebody else's YouTube video, clips I see, threads I see, could sometimes come from Reddit, wherever, right? And there's this idea, you see these toxic people, you read these toxic comments, and it's kind of like what you're describing here, like Xbox desperately coping, saying that PlayStation is dead. And you're going to get people who are like, who's saying that? Like, nobody's saying that. And that's not true. It's not that nobody's saying that. The correct way to put it is very, very few people who are not even worth acknowledging are saying that. And that's the problem. And I continue to occasionally be part of it, where it's like, there are people who don't deserve to be acknowledged because they are only in it for one reason and one reason only, and it's exactly that. It's the acknowledgement. You gave them your time of day. You gave them the time of day, is what I mean to say. You gave them a moment of your time. And as soon as that happens, they win. The acknowledgement is the oxygen they need to continue to live. And what we are seeing right now, I know, well, here's the thing, Titus. I'm going to try to make this a bit of a learning experience, right? Because I think what happens is a lot of times people don't realize what they're doing. And again, I'm guilty of it too sometimes. I'm guilty of it too, where like sometimes I don't even quite realize like, oh shit. And it's like after, oh, I did it again. You know, I'm giving the wrong people the time of day. And because of that, there's no reasoning, there's no bargaining, that's all that they just want the oxygen. And as soon as I give it to them, they win. That's going to continue to exist no matter what. Sony and Microsoft could both give up exclusivity, make one fucking box and unite the brands and say, this is the Xbox, PlayStation 6 or whatever, you know, and have dual showcases or whatever. They could do that and there would still be people with the craziest takes, just only there to facilitate that acknowledgement. And so you look at what the announcement that we're talking about today, Gears of War Remastered, PlayStation 5, dropping in August, PS5 Pro Enhanced. What's good to see, and this is the good news, Illegal Monkey. What's good to see is I went on Twitter for just a little bit, and you could tell things maybe are getting better. Almost everything I've seen, not every single thing, but the overwhelming majority of it, people excited. Whether they're PlayStation players, Xbox players, PC players. And, you know, frankly, I mean, I don't know if Nintendo players are excited, but they don't seem to be unhappy. And but what I can promise you is that if you keep looking, you're going to find that less than 1%. You're going to find that person that's like, well, you know, I guess Xbox is like the Xbox brand is dead, or Microsoft killed the Xbox, or I hate Xbox, or you're going to see other, you know, and I am seeing this. I am seeing, you know, some PlayStation fans, they're trying, you know, they're trying to weaponize this. And I'm going to say, you know what? I think don't fall for the trap. Take it from somebody who does it occasionally, accidentally. Don't fall for the trap where it's like the people who are trying to bait you into weaponizing this against the Xbox fan base or Xbox themselves. Don't do that, because they're trying to bring you down to that level. You know, they're trying to bring, like, rather than just being excited at the fact that, wow, you know, we're like I saw some people saying, we're eating good. We're getting more games. We have more games than ever before to play and choose from on our console of choice that we prefer to play on. Rather than focusing on that, you're going to get these loud, obnoxious individuals. Again, not many of them, but they're very loud. And they're going to try to get your attention, and they're going to try to tell you like, no, bro. No, like, yeah, you celebrate that Gears of War, because without it, PlayStation would be nothing. PlayStation would be dead. You guys wouldn't have anything to play. And it's like, do we really? I mean, like, think about this though. Do we actually have to make an example of that person? I think even taking the time to make an example of that person makes you stupid. Not you, but I just, like, if I were to do it, right? It makes me stupid, because it's like, bro, that's like, imagine somebody coming up to you and being like, hey man, what games did you play this year? And on what platform? And you say, well, I play on PlayStation, or I have a PS5 Pro. And you list like 7 different games from 7 different publishers that you played. Maybe 2 of them are from Microsoft. Maybe you played Days Gone Remastered. Maybe you played Expedition. Maybe you played Assassin's Creed. So on and so forth, right? You play like 7 different games. And imagine that person being like, those 2 Microsoft games you just listed, it's a good thing they gave those games to you. Because if they didn't, you wouldn't be playing nothing. You ain't got nothing. I mean, in all seriousness, like, how would you react? If like you were having an in-person conversation with that person, how would you react? There's only one of 2 ways you react to that. You either look at him like, are you fucking stupid? Like, are you trying to annoy me? Or you would just literally turn and walk and be like, I think there's something wrong with you. I'm going to go find somebody else to talk to. 90% of people, like in real life, probably more than 90%, would turn away from that person and be like, there's something wrong with him. He's either trolling me or there's just something wrong with him. I need to go find somebody else that's actually worth my time to talk to. That, what I just described, that happens so frequently on the internet, especially in these spaces. And you always got to have your shield up, man. You always got to have your guard up because people have gotten very good at it. They've gotten very good at baiting you in and trying to convince you that they want to have some kind of discussion or want some kind of conversation. But it's like, no, it's not that. Not for them anyway. Anyway, Illegal Monkey, the whole reason I'm going on this long-winded tangent is because there is truth to what you're saying. And I'm not agreeing with that in some kind of fanboyish way where it's like Xbox sucked so bad that they have to come crawling to PlayStation. Like, the reality of it is Xbox was on the ropes, and it was because they got beat in the console space, not just by PlayStation, but also by Nintendo. They were in last place, and I've talked about it extensively, how like they did what they tried, bro. They did. Like, you could say a lot of things about Xbox, and this is not a defense of Xbox, it's just a fact. You can say a lot of things about Xbox, but you can't say that they didn't try. They did try, they just failed. And that happens. That's a reality where, like, money isn't going to solve all the problems. You know, no amount of money thrown at one individual studio is suddenly going to make them a Naughty Dog. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work that way. It's more nuanced. It's more complex. And it got to a point where the only solution that Microsoft truly had was, well, we do have money. Surely this money can solve one of our problems. And it did. And I talked about it yesterday. It solved their problem of we just need more good games. So what should we do? Let's buy studios that have already made good games and will likely continue to make good games and put our logo on it and make their money. You know? And it's like the time to have the conversation of whether that's right or wrong or respectable or not, that time came and passed. And we did have those discussions. Now the dust is settled. And all we're seeing at this point is there really is no more competition in the console space, and the console war has disintegrated. I even tried talking about the idea of the Switch 2 maybe being a more competition to PlayStation, but at the rate things are going, more and more people are kind of agreeing that, like, I don't think like the Switch 2 is going to do amazing, might even do better than PlayStation, but they're not really competing at that high level. They have to be aware of each other and what each other's doing, like what the other hand is doing, right? Like they have to be aware, but this is what we see between Nintendo and Sony is nothing like what we saw between PlayStation and Xbox, at least not yet. That could ramp up in the next year or two. And who knows, maybe that is the next console war that's on the horizon. It's just in the early days of brewing. It's certainly possible, but right now we're seeing one console war officially come to an end, and there's always going to be the stragglers, man. There's always going to be the people like I saw people yesterday trying to use the fact that Microsoft has reached out to me and is being kind enough to offer me opportunities to review certain upcoming Microsoft published games. And now that they're bringing in the PlayStation, I saw people trying to weaponize that against me. And see, that's the bait I'm talking about, where it's like, let me get this straight. You want to be the same type of person to convince people that what Xbox is doing is a good thing. But then when a PlayStation player embraces that goodness and says, okay, yeah, let's check this out, then it's a problem. These are the types of people I'm talking about. These are the types of people that we're dealing with. Where it's like, you're not worth being part, like you're not worth acknowledging, and you shouldn't be part of the conversation because you're contributing absolutely nothing. You just want to keep that fight going, and that fight is over. And I think the sad reality that some people are starting to kind of realize is that the little attention, the microscopic amount of attention that being that loud about console warring, that microscopic amount of attention that they ended up getting on the internet is being crushed and being killed and being suffocated, mostly by Microsoft themselves. And they're doing anything they can to hang on to that and make sure that they can keep that flame going, right? Because what's the alternative? Accept and admit that the console war is over and that you can't really complain anymore in the way that you used to? What does that mean? What does that mean? That means you might, I don't know, have to start playing and enjoying video games? Uh-oh. Can't have that now. All right. Got a couple more super chats. I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. Publisher wars? I don't even think... Dude, it's not even publisher wars, I don't think. I don't even think it's publisher wars. Just before I read these super chats, I don't think it's publisher wars because it's like... Microsoft's going to be able to say we're making the most money out of any publisher because we have the most studios, we have the most IP because we paid for that, and now we're, you know, it's just the natural business of you make an investment, you get that return on investment, and eventually that return on investment can grow into a handsome profit, right? And they paid for that, right? Sony is doing that same thing just on a much smaller scale where it's like, okay, we're only going to release like 2 games this year. But they got to be really, really, really high quality single player games. And hopefully they'll sell millions of units and we can make a handsome profit off of it. But yeah, it's like Death Stranding 2 and Ghost of Yotei combined are not going to be able to match the output of Microsoft, not even close. And I don't think that's a problem for Sony when you consider that the insane output that Microsoft's going to have, Sony benefits from as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do think, I will say this though, I think Sony is they're not gonna pump the brakes on publishing, to be clear. I don't think they're gonna pump the brakes on publishing because, yeah, publishing is a huge part of PlayStation, and it's been a huge moneymaker for them. I mean, they've lost some money too, but it's something that they've invested like multiple decades in. And they've gotten pretty damn good at. So they make their mistakes. But the background music is MGS1. Pugmaster, or hold on, Radic, a member for 21 months, says Halo will be a PlayStation Plus title. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's how they're going to announce it. Sony paid for that to secure it as a PlayStation Plus title. Sure. Pugmaster, the Supreme, says, what will the ponies rag on now with Xbox gone? Well, here's the reality. I'm just going to... Guys, we're sitting here looking at, again, Gears of War, a game that nobody ever imagined would ever come to PlayStation, let alone, you know, have Microsoft marketing it on PlayStation. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Sony ponies and Xbox are about to go extinct unless they wake up and realize that there's no place anymore for Sony ponies. There's no place anymore for Xbox. They don't exist. It's a dying breed. And it's going to, like, Gears of War is a major, like, facilitator of that. Like, bro, Microsoft is out here, like, talking about how excited they are for PlayStation players to play this game. And you're going to see a lot of Xbox fans talk about how excited they are for PlayStation players to play this game. And the natural reciprocation there would be for PlayStation players to be like, you know what? This is great, man. And I'm telling you, you get those few people that are like in the back of the room like still fighting, like they're gonna get kicked out because like people are gonna get fed up. Where it's like, bro, what are you fighting about? What are you going on about? Why are we fighting? You know. Then who will fight the PC master race? Well, hey, I didn't say there isn't going to be any fight. Turns out that the ponies and the Xbox are going to unite to take on the PC master race. The Nintendo drones are next. Did you guys ever see those animated videos of the console wars? I think I reacted to them a while ago. We might have to check them out in the Members Lounge again. That was some funny shit, dude. The console wars animated videos. I think they're a little bit old at this point. I don't know if they kept up with them or not. I hope that they make at least one more though to kind of like put the cap on it. Rimtendo. Okay. That sounds cursed. I mean, I talk all the time about my frustration with the rage bait and how frustrated I get with the stuff. But that's my fault. A lot of what I'm preaching right now, I need to do a better job at practicing. I'm well aware of that. I am well aware of that, and I'm getting there. It's just old habits die hard, right? I mean, there's no denying that. There's no denying that for those of us who are very passionate about the console gaming space, this stuff runs deep where it's like, bro, a lot of us were there during the launch of the 360 and the PS3 where like Microsoft was going for Sony's jugular and Sony was, tripping all over themselves. A lot of us were there at the PS4 and the Xbox One where Xbox One, Microsoft just shot themselves in the foot and Sony basically was like, well, now that you shot yourself in the foot, I'm going to drop kick you down a flight of steps. And I mean, they were really going after each other, bro. Like you could make the argument that they were getting so vicious with each other that somebody was going to have to fall, bro. Somebody was going to have to fall because it's like, there's no way they're both going to win out. They're too aggressive. And yeah, even Peter Moore, he admitted that they leaned into that during the 360 era. Like they encouraged the console wars and shit. And I'm saying like, this is, so yeah, it's understandable that there's going to be some leftover, like kind of, we were conditioned to kind of see it this way, right? But things have changed a lot. And I think today, with the announcement of Gears of War on PlayStation, I think this truly is like, all right, man, an announcement has been made. And this should be a wake-up call for certain people. Like it really should, where it's like, you don't have to turn and be like, you know what, Xbox is great. I love Xbox. No. But you also, I don't think it's appropriate to like try to still axe kick Xbox because it's like, bro, they're not trying to, like, they're literally just trying to ask you if you want to play their game, man. You just have to say no. Like they're not trying to steal game. They're not trying to like lock down exclusives. They're not trying to put out a console that's going to make the PS5 look like a joke. They're not doing any of that. They're just like, do you want to buy some Gears of War, buddy? We put a platinum trophy in there. I mean, we enhanced it for the Pro. It'd be nice if you would maybe consider it. Like that's what we're dealing with at this point. And I feel like you got to be some kind of like maniac to be like, no, go die in a hole, you piece of shit. Take your garbage ass games and go die in a hole somewhere. Like, I mean, come on, man. You notice that YouTube has been very rage bait centric nowadays. It's really tiring to where everything you see, it's a downfall, the problem, we're screwed. Yeah, I know, dude. You are, trust me when I tell you, I've had to actually go out of my way to mitigate as a YouTuber how much I go on the internet, and I fail a lot of times, but it's like I have to put a conscientious effort in not only customizing what I want to see, what I don't want to see, but even just how much time I spend looking at things, because I'm like, yeah, everywhere I look, it's here's why you need to be worried and anxiety or annoyed or angry or frustrated. And I'm like, I think I'm just going to go fucking meditate in the woods at this point. I'm about to go do my stream in the middle of the fucking woods. You know, like, leave me alone. You know what it feels like sometimes? Feels like I am trying to be Kratos in the woods. And I get that knock at my door, you know? All right, I made you guys wait long enough with the Lumbergy. Okay, I can't say it, Schmidt. I'm sorry. Michael, you're saying you have those type of gamers in your chat right now. You hear that Xbox MBG is talking about you. Well, so here's the thing. The idea is we're going to refer to Neil Druckmann. Bro's like, what? Bro, did he just say Neil Druckmann? That's right. I'm about to drop a bomb on you guys right now. You ready? Remember, spoilers for The Last of Us Part 2, by the way. Just a heads up. Spoilers. You remember when Abby and Ellie were fighting to the death? And then Ellie was like, I'm going to just let it go. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to just remove my hands from her neck. I'm just going to sit here, contemplate my life, and just let her go. You know? Yeah, I mean, you're going to see people that are not going to be able to let it go, and the ball will be in your court. You see somebody and they're like, I'm going to say something really toxic and volatile right now, and that urge you have where it's like, well, I gotta retaliate. Really, you have the power at that point where all you have to do is not retaliate. You see somebody call you pony, okay. Ignore them, move on, find somebody else that's saying something more interesting. See somebody calling you an X-bot or a toxic X-bot, you got to just move on. Now, granted, we do have a chat here. You know, we do have a community, so there is a certain level of responsibility that I have and my mods where it's like, we got to, you know, and to be clear, I think it's fine if you're just joking and having a little bit of fun. But I think what really has become sad to see on certain parts of the internet, without getting hyper specific about it, but I'm sure some of you see it as well, is that people, you got to be careful with how much you joke around though, right? Because there are bad actors who will very quickly become malicious and make things personal, or if not personal, stoop to a level where it's like, bro, this doesn't really seem like it's a joke anymore. And that's because for a lot of these people, it's not a joke. It never was. That's why I just think, you know, like, I see people make jokes and some shit's pretty funny. But it's like you keep seeing people kind of push it a little bit further every time where it's like, okay, we're like, at this point you're demeaning another human being. I mean, like, you're like being really nasty towards this person over their opinion of fucking video games. And it's like, no, but we're just all laughing and joking. It's fine. It's like, okay, if you say so. Sure. As long as everybody's smiling and laughing, then it's fine. There's a word for that. But, you know, I don't want to digress too much here. I'm just saying, Michael, that yes, I run a PlayStation channel. I understand that there are going to be people who they see an Xbox game and they say, it doesn't matter, Xbox games are still dog shit. Banter? The thing about that is, like, I think you're allowed to have, like, that's a valid opinion. If you're like, I hate Xbox games and I think that they make the worst games and I want nothing to do with them, that's fine. There are people who feel that way about PlayStation games. Like, dude, I've come across people where they're like, dude, The Last of Us 1 is terrible. Or like, you know, God of War is so overrated and it's not that good at all. And it's like, I get it. Like, I mean, I completely disagree. I think that there are a lot of people who disagree, but you're allowed to feel that way. Like, if you get offended at somebody not liking what you like, that's more of a reflection of you than them. Now, if somebody keeps going on and on about it, where it's just like, let me just keep telling you how much I don't like this thing. Let me constantly tell you how much I hate this thing. And you do that, and you know, people respond and are like, okay, we get it, man. We get it. You can stop. It's like, no, but I gotta keep letting you know. And again, what I'm describing, a lot of us have been, you know, a lot of people have been guilty of this for quite some time. I'm not saying it's like unnatural or like you're a crazy person. People do this all the time. Josh, thank you. I'll make sure to read them. I'm just simply trying to say that, like, we've reached a point, I think, where we have to be a little bit, like, collectively, a little bit more aware and a little bit more responsible of how we conduct ourselves on the internet. I'm not responsible for anybody here. You know, I can't control what another person wants to do, and I don't want to control what other people do. I just think that we have to just kind of find a reasonable place to exist where jokes are actually just jokes and they're not necessarily coming at the expense of somebody in a malicious way, you know, where we can talk about games and people can be like, I actually think this game is bad, and we can just kind of be like, okay, that's fine. And the people who want to talk about a game that they think is good, just let them talk about it. If people want to have a conversation about why they think a game is so bad, let them have it. You know? And if there's going to be some push and pull, that's always welcome. But there has to be certain limits to it where it's like, and I see it all the time where people start to get vicious with each other, you know? And it's like, we just have to remember, we're talking about video games. You know, I understand that people, they put their hearts on their sleeve when it comes to like stuff like politics and, you know, and like some more serious real world problems. I get that. And you can understand why people start to get a little bit more vicious with like real world shit like that. But, you know, I just think sometimes it's a good reminder that we're talking about video games and video game companies. And I always try to bring it back to this. And I know I sound so cliche, but like, why did you start playing video games in the first place? You know? You started playing video games in the first place because they brought you some kind of joy or happiness or contentment, just something positive. And people need to try to remember that. Anyway, MBG, I own 486 Xbox games, but I'm a pony apparently. And that's what I mean. Like, delete that. I mean, you don't have to literally do that, but I mean, like, delete that thought. Delete that from your mind, because that's not true, bro. No, you cannot call somebody who owns over 480 Xbox games a pony. You just can't do it. That's not a real thing. Delete those games. El Unico says PlayStation #1. Unico, I feel, did you just tune in, man? All right. We got a super chat from Kane-Z7. He says, I just came back. Did I miss too much of the rant? No, I don't think so. I don't even know how to call it a rant. I'm glad you're here, Kane. Mark Tech, you're saying, isn't it funny how nobody bats an eye when Xbox announces big game news through a blog post, but when Sony does it, it means they don't care anymore. Yeah, and, you know, I think there is a reason for this, Mark Tech. I think it's, and I say this as somebody where I was asking that question. I was like, Sony, why did you do this through a blog post? And what I realized is that it's the expectations that we've placed on PlayStation. And that, frankly, I think that they built those expectations up partially themselves, where, like, the idea is PlayStation's the one that brings the hype. And that was established very thoroughly last generation. Like, they really established that last gen. And they established it at the beginning of this gen. And yeah, that's true. Like, that's what kind of made me, I take the L. I will take the L right now. Where, like, people were like, bro, God of War 2018's release date was announced in a blog post. And I'm like, right. Now, there are important differences to acknowledge. Like, the details are important. We're like, well, you did get like a 9-minute gameplay walkthrough of God of War and the initial reveal at E3. There was that. You did get multiple trailers, gameplay and story trailers, leading to that blog post announcement. And we didn't quite get that in the same way with Ghost of Yotei. But the point remains that, like, Sony has done this before. They've just done it in either, like, a more stretched out way or a more condensed way. And I think what we're seeing is just the more condensed way. And that's where I take a step back and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm projecting my own emotions on like how I think this should be. How I think this should have been handled. And that's overriding just the simple fact that, like, but isn't this good news? You know what I mean? Like, isn't it exciting to get a new trailer for a game you're excited for and a release date? And that's where I just want to be more aware of, like, that absolutely should be at the forefront because that's the big thing here. And I did express that, but yeah, it's just like maybe the whole idea of, like, this is great, but it should have been a showcase. Like, yeah, it comes off very much like, well, geez, man, like, can't we just enjoy it for what it is? You know, like, do we always have to look at it as what it could have been? Can we just enjoy something for what it is? And yeah, and I admit that I go a little bit too far. Yeah, like, it's a sense of entitlement, right? Now, I just think that maybe the better way to handle it is these are two separate things. Two things can be true at the same time. I'm a big believer in that. I mean, I think it's just a fact, right? Like, it can be true that, man, how awesome is it to get a release date for Ghost of Yotei and a new trailer and the collector's edition? Like, this game looks amazing. I'm super hyped. I can't wait to play it this October. And then completely separate from that, at the same time, it would be great if Sony does a PlayStation showcase this year. It's been almost like pretty much 2 years. It feels like it's a good time. I would love to see that, and I think they should do one. You know what I mean? They're two separate things. And I think they can both be true at the same time. I guess really it's a matter of making sure you keep those things separate. Not mixing them in together. Mark Tech, thank you for the super chat, buddy. We have Michael Lynch with another super chat. He says, yes, the console war is over, but there's still Xbots everywhere saying stupid stuff online. I will never stop correcting it when I see it. That is not console warring, that is educating. And you're not wrong, Michael. Like, I know exactly, like, believe me, I know you see what I see, Michael. I know that. And I honestly can't say I blame you. I can't. But all I can say is that, dude, I have been trying to grapple with certain takes, certain opinions, and certain individuals for years to no avail. You know, to know, and I think the one thing that I will say maybe your perspective will eventually change is that what you see is like, I'm going to educate them, right? Or I'm going to drop a fact on them. It becomes disturbing when you realize that some of the people, if not most of the people that you're referring to, they're not that stupid. Like, most people are not genuinely that stupid. There are stupid people. And I'm like not trying to offend anybody. It's a natural way of things. There are some very dumb people out there that really don't know any better. And, you know, sometimes it's good. Like, we're at certain points in our lives, we're all stupid, right? And we have to learn, hopefully not the hard way, but we have to learn nonetheless. We know what we know because we've learned. You know? They have to be humiliated and humbled. I mean, I get where that comes from, but the internet is such a different place from real life that I think that works in real life. I do. Like, I'm not saying you should. It's not about like encouraging bullying or anything. It's like, no, it's just like if somebody's got to be put in their place because they're getting way out of fucking pocket, then so be it. And chances are they will be put in their place, right? Like they'll learn, like, oh, okay, don't do that again. That was stupid. On the internet, there's like like that doesn't exist hardly at all. You know, especially when you're talking about random users, right? Random anonymous users. It's like that can't exist. And that's where things get complicated. Don't get tangled in that. Knight of Cypher comes in and decides to become a channel member. Knight of Cypher, thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate you keeping that member train going. He brings us to 26.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing a members lounge after this. So, you know, Knight of Cypher, please join us over there. It'll be a good time. I appreciate that. But yeah, Michael, I mean, I've sometimes put people on blast. Really, really rare that I do. But I used to do it more often where it's like, you know, I would have people can still, like, I would present a fact, a literal fact. Not, you know, I mean, like something that's undeniable, irrefutable to somebody in order to shut them up or in order to get them to just, if not admit they're wrong, just like stop. Like it's over. And they wouldn't, it doesn't matter. Like for those people, it's just, like I said, it's not that they're dumb. It's just rejection. It's like, if you're telling me this fact, I'd rather still choose to deny it as a fact than accept it because you're the one trying to show me it. So you got to be careful. You know, the whole idea of like calling it out, educating people. I noticed that there's more and more of these groups of people getting together, just deciding like, what if we just don't? You know? But Michael, I appreciate the super chats, man. Knight of Cypher, you're saying facts. You are becoming my favorite. Oh, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. Lux, you're saying, MEG, who do we educate? If you look at facts, Nintendo outsells PlayStation, and their IPs also do, with higher rated games. PlayStation makes more money through the casual audience, but Nintendo 100% wins as a gaming brand. Well, see, that's what I mean. Is like, yeah, that you're presenting facts that are undeniable, and so at that point, the only thing that's left for somebody to do is say, well, I don't agree with that. And it's like, well, how can you disagree with this if it's a fact? Well, it's like, because I think PlayStation makes better games. I like the games that PlayStation makes better. But that's not how people present it. You know what I mean? Like healthy adult behavior is as follows. Okay? Healthy, mature behavior. You don't have to be an adult, but just mature behavior. Hey, man. So you're playing Nintendo. You like those games? Yeah, I love these games, man. They're my favorite games. Oh, I mean, I'm playing on PlayStation. You ever check out these games? Yeah, I saw this. I'm not really as into those games. Oh, huh. I think they're pretty good. These are my favorite games. Oh, that's cool, dude. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm glad you're having a good time enjoying your games. Maybe in the future, if you're feeling up to it, check out some more of these games too, because they might win you over. And I'll say, hey, you know what? Same to you, man. Have fun gaming. Why are we all high-pitched? I don't know. Apparently, people pay closer attention to you the more high-pitched your voice goes. But that's it. Like that's how it should be. And if you're having a conversation and somebody's like, let me tell you something, man. I think The Last of Us is totally overrated, and I think Breath of the Wild is way better. And, you know, and you're like, well, I completely disagree with that. And then, you know, you're at risk at that point of if you continue that conversation, you are now engaging in a deeper discussion. And if you want to engage in a deeper discussion, you have to be willing to not say, you know what, you're right and I'm wrong. It's not about that. It's about agreeing to disagree. But finding the different, but also showing a willingness to, like, I would like to hear more. I think I just hope that more people can end up doing that in a public, in a social online social space. You know, yeah, people do like to fight. And that's like half of what the internet is, or more than half at this point. And it's just like, what's wrong with acknowledging that no game is perfect? That if you love this game and you think it's the most perfect game, you think it is a perfect game, that it's okay for somebody to disagree with that and find flaws in the game that you love and hold so sacred. I think people need to just become a little bit more secure in themselves, a little bit more secure in what they like, why they like it, and they don't need anybody's validation for anything. And that can be hard if you're willing, you know, if you're willing to have deeper conversations with people about things. That can be hard. We know Unseen Ninja. You don't have to spam. It's cool. PC better. Meanwhile, Unseen Ninja in the chat, PC better, yo. Well, you know what? You know what though? I'm glad you like PC better. I'm glad you're happy. If that makes you happy, that's good, because being happy is better than being sad. MBG, I'll sell you my Series X for $1. I'm good, bro. And that's literally no offense. Well, I don't know, $1. Shit. You know what? Maybe would I take that? $1. That's basically free. Basically free. Anyway, I didn't really mean to go on this diatribe about all of this stuff. You know, it's just that seeing something like Gears of War dropping on PlayStation out of nowhere, like just announced, it feels like there's probably not a better time to have this type of conversation. I mean, you won't even take it for $1. Well, it's just because I don't want to take something I'm actually not going to use. But actually, you know what though? You know what? In the future, no joke, in the future, if I do end up finally buying a new Guitar Hero guitar or a Rock Band guitar, I may have to get like a Series X or something, because that's where all my Rock Band songs are. You know? Had to cut the whole cake with my wife is punishing me for something, obviously. Whoa, Titus, what's going on, man? Everything good? Rock Band streams. I thought about that, but I'm not sure that I could because of copyright. But that would be really cool. Yeah. I thought about that. All right, let me see. We got. All right, wait, guys, hold on. We have an exercise. We have a live exercise right now. Unseen Ninja in the chat is saying, imagine still being on PlayStation. Here's the exercise, guys. I'm going to act like I'm in the chat with you. I notice it. What do? Okay? Multiple choice. A, I immediately respond and defend the honor of PlayStation. B, I call him a name. C, I say something about what MBG just said that has nothing to do with what that person just said in the chat. Or D, I just don't type anything in the chat at all. Illegal monkey, you failed. I gave you two opportunities to succeed, and you picked both the wrong answers, bro. Michael Lynch picked the wrong answer, too. Knight of Cypher got it. Guy Gravity. Steven got it. D, but B to be funny. See, now we're just I'm profiling all of you. I'm gauging I'm making lists in my head right now. Hanzo says he wasn't listening. Well, please repeat. No, I'm not repeating. I'm going to have to clearly train some of you and recondition some of you. It's the only way. You want letter E, petition Gaming Survivor to ban them? Oh man. All right, let's get back. I have a couple more super chats. I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. We just Joel him. Okay. Straight up, you know, let's just go to violence. You sound like my camp counselor. Devil Shooter, you failed. Banish him. Banish him to the Shadow Realm. All right, we got Kane Z7. He says, I've been here since the Crackdown 3 video. Seems like a lifetime has passed. Glad you're still a pony like us, MBG. I was afraid you'd have become a Nintendog. You're all wrong. The Atelier series, I still don't know if I'm saying that right, is better than all this BS. Just admit it, guys. Wait, is it Nintendog or Nintendrone? Pony Sammy Kid says, ponies rejoice. Kojima is making Crackdown 4. Bro, I would absolutely play that. Yo, hold on. I want whoever's going to be in the members lounge later. All right? When we go to the members lounge, I want you to remember what I'm saying right now and then remind me, because I will forget. Just tell me, type in the chat, the Death Stranding 2 song. Okay, just do that. Okay? Just remind me when we're in the members lounge. MBG needs a pony in the background. We need to embrace it. Yeah, I'm going to cosplay as a pony for the next PlayStation Showcase. This is what we're going to do, bro. It's got to happen. It's the only way. All right. Hold on. I'm sorry. I got a couple tabs open that need to be closed. Guy Gravity, I'm actually not for some reason it's not ringing a bell. It's not ringing a bell. But I would just, Kojima developed Crackdown 4, I would buy day one. Wear the unicorn hat, that would be epic. Guys, I'm going to be honest. Listen, I think I'm going to just try to be normal for the showcases, if that's okay. You know, I can't risk making myself more of a meme than I've already become. A bald pony. I don't know that I can risk making myself more of a meme. We aren't normal. I know, but we have to try. We have to at least try. What is normal? Well, that's totally true. Everybody's a little bit weird, but I try to reserve my weirdness for, try to keep it private. Don't want to put it out there on display. Should dress up as a pony for the Xbox showcase. Put on a nice shirt and tie. Yeah, I should come in a full suit, bro. A full suit. God, I think I've worn a suit like 3 times. No, probably less than 3 times in my life. I'm not even kidding. I probably worn a suit less than 3 times in my life. The blue face paint. Oh, I should just come in as a... Oh, yeah, as like one of the dudes from the Blue Man Group. I mean, I am bald. It could work. Maybe I could just cosplay as Boss. But then you guys will probably force me to eat treats. Get a horse t-shirt for the Xbox showcase. I was thinking about getting a shirt with like Phil Spencer's face on it or something, you know? Or like maybe Satya... I think Satya Nadella's face would be even funnier. I feel like Phil Spencer, I don't know, man. Like, he just kind of chilled out, you know? I think Phil was told to like take a seat, basically. It's pretty clear that Satya Nadella took over, and I just feel like having Satya Nadella's big bald head, just with a big smile, big grin, on my shirt would be pretty funny. I'm weird. I shame my son all the time. Gaming Survivor, member for 19 months, says, I get what you say, MBG, but some of these guys annoy people and can't handle the smoke when it returns. Constant everything PlayStation equals bad spam gets tiring. Oh, I hear you, man. I hear you, but you know, I look at it as like, I've tried to fight these fights where like, bro, go, like I had to fight, hold on, before I even do the fake voice, I had to fight, there was like infighting, dude. Like I remember when Ghost of Yotei was announced. People were fighting. They were like fighting about where's Jin and it's woke and blah blah. Ghost of Woke-Tai, and it's like I did end up having to go on the defense a little bit because I was being like bombarded. I'm like, what are we doing? And that's where I realized like the mistake that was made was, and now you're on the defense. You're not running offense, now you're running defense. That's the problem. You shouldn't be running offense, you shouldn't be running defense, you should be talking about how excited you are for what you just saw. And that's it. That's it, because the thing is that like I said, Gaming Survivor, the people that you come across, whatever you might be seeing, where it's like everything PlayStation does is bad, or like the spam, PS, whatever, like, I'm telling you, man, there are people on the other side. There are people on the other side who prefer Xbox, where they don't do that shit, and they have to deal with that from the PlayStation side, where there are PlayStation people who do that, where everything Xbox does is bad. Everything's like again, like there are gonna be people who are like, Gears of War is shit and garbage, and keep your garbage remaster. We don't want it for no reason, and like what we need to do is, those people, the ones who see that from the PlayStation side, and those of us who see it from the Xbox side, we need to unite. We need to unite and be like, you know what, guys? You're at the bottom. You're at the bottom, and nobody can hear you. We can't even see you. We just know you're there, and that's where you are choosing to stay. We got to rise up. Come on, Gaming Survivor. We got to do it together, bro. Get some WD-40 in hand. Dual wield that WD-40. Grease those wheels, bro. I don't even know what I'm saying. We're all wearing black for the Xbox console funeral at their showcase. Beast mode, there ain't no way. Pizza party sounds nice. Pizza party sounds nice. Yeah. I'm saying, like, we got to rise up and unite. And he's like, so we're all wearing black, right? For Xbox's funeral. Like, no, man. Last of Us 2.0 for PS6 imminent. I'm going to throw up. Like, dude, if I see... I'm not even I am not a Last of Us. Well, some people think I'm a hater, but I can't, like, I just can't anymore. Like, and I want to be clear. If tomorrow Sony announces something about The Last of Us, but it's something new, I'm there. Here's a DLC, or here's we're announcing a game about Tommy or whatever, or just a whole new group. Doesn't matter. I just can't anymore with The Last of Us 1 and 2, simply because it's like, dude, it has reached oversaturation. Like, I just, I understand that Naughty Dog has to market. No one can stand it anymore. I mean, that's what's scaring me, bro. Like, do they not see? I understand they have to market the HBO, but it's like, bro, do they not see? Like, people are getting, like, stop. It's like, stop. Please, God, stop. Like, nobody's saying that The Last of Us is a bad game. Well, I mean, some people are saying the sequel is a bad game. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just rest. Just slow down. Lay down and rest for a while. Please, God. Please. Meanwhile, Naughty Dog today. Go buy The Last of Us Complete. Out now. By the way, did you miss our Last of Us Part 2, Season 2, HBO podcast for Episode 3? It's like... and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just saying, man, like, please, God, I will... show me, just tell me something about Intergalactic. Just do that. Just send a tweet saying, here's one detail about Intergalactic. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Naughty Dog should make Crackdown 4. PlayStation gamers are ensuring the continued existence of the Xbox console. Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's good, because it's like, if Microsoft is worried about not making money on like the few consoles that they're going to sell, I would rather, like, listen, I'm happy that there's going to be something coming from Microsoft. Something. They're adding a character as a playable no return. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad that Microsoft is like, we're not really going to have we're not going to be aggressive in the console space, but we're just going to make something, and it's going to exist for those who want it. I am still grateful for that, because it, like, here's what it does ensure: that Sony's still going to have to, like, pay some attention. You get what I'm saying? Like, Microsoft's going to put out a console that, no matter what, it's not going to sell that great, but what feature set is it going to have? You know? Oh, you like the Metal Gear Solid music? I like it too. It's pretty chill. It's pretty chill. I should do that more often. That was a good idea. I don't know if Corey's still here, but that was a good idea. You need a Gear skin and a DualSense. Yeah, I wonder if Microsoft would be willing to do something like that at some point. Like, would they ever be willing to partner with Sony to do, or would Sony be willing to, like, do a Gears themed DualSense, bro? Like, I think that would sell. I think both Sony and Microsoft would. Well, I don't know. The margins on that would probably be much higher for Sony. So I could see Microsoft actually not wanting to do that, because Microsoft wants to sell Xbox controllers. So yeah, that's where I think things get a little bit. Arnie Vesper, you're saying, do we know anything about a physical Gears on PS5? As of right now, I have not come across anything mentioning a physical version. So I told people to assume it's going to be digital only, and I'm thinking it's going to be digital only. MBG needs to hear the Alan Silvestri score on for Delta Force, specifically the Delta Force theme. 3 new controllers in development. Michael Lynch, you're saying, did you ever play the Xenosaga Episode 1 on PS2? Great. I never did. No, that I'm not even sure what game that is, frankly, Michael. Does that game have something to do with Xenogears? I know about Xenogears in the sense that, like, I know about the game. But Xenosaga. You were a minute behind, but you would buy Gears of War DualSense? Yeah, I do see people getting frustrated with Microsoft's approach with digital only. I think it would... Listen, if I'm Microsoft, I do a physical print of Gears of War. I'm telling you. I think they made a mistake not doing a physical version for Forza. I think they left some money on the table. I really do. I think that I think they should do it for Gears. I think Gears is going to do pretty damn well. A Gears themed PlayStation? I don't think they'll go that far. Yeah. All right. Where? I'm trying to see if there's anything on Gears of War being like a physical version. Let's see. Let me check Amazon. Yeah, I don't think so, man. Gears of War Reloaded. Shopping. I'm thinking it's going to be digital only. Yeah, I don't see anything on a physical version. That's a shame. I mean, maybe they'll say something, but I think that is a shame. I don't like that, man. I don't like that they're just like no physical for anything. What's weird though is they did physical for Indiana Jones, but people were like, well, only 20 gigabytes is on the disc. Michael Lynch with another super chat saying Chuck Norris helped build the hospital he was born in. Good old Chuck Norris. Dude, I haven't heard a Chuck Norris joke in years. That's a pretty good one, though. It's a pretty good one. That's interesting, Tarnish. You're saying you're more excited and enthralled about an Xbox showcase than PlayStation? Sony no longer feels as exciting when it comes to fanfare as Microsoft? I mean, I totally get where you're coming from. I would be more excited for a PlayStation showcase, but the excitement pretty much doesn't exist because I'm not at all. Well, we'll save this conversation for tomorrow, but I have no idea if they're doing a showcase. The best outcome, first, the last week of May, first week of June, the best outcome is Sony does a showcase, and it's a good one. And we see some stuff that we're like, damn, that looks great, bro. That looks fire. And then Xbox has a showcase, and it's a really good one. And we just basically walked away with 2, and also Summer Game Fest in between that. 3 showcases, and they're fucking all awesome. And we're just totally overwhelmed with, we're totally overwhelmed. What? I don't know about that one. Grammy music. Oh, Josh, yeah, I'm gonna read your directs. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, so I get so wrapped up in what I'm saying. Thank you for the reminder. I apologize. I don't know why that notification isn't going off. But no, I don't think that's possible. I don't think they're allowed to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But Josh, let me read your direct donations. Hold on one sec. So Josh, aka Moonshot, says, can't blame Xbox fans for being pissed. I get corpse lie, but I haven't seen a liar as serial as Phil. I don't know why he would say 4 games a year ago just to lie to your face. 395 hours later, I beat Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Incredible game, unforgettable experience. Like the best GTA I've played, but first person and medieval. Hats off to Warhorse. God, dude, that's practically 400 hours. Well, I'm happy for you, Josh. I am. I mean, it's not every day you come across a game that you love so much you drop 400 hours in, and it's like it's one of the best games you ever played. I'd love to hear that from people. I love those experiences. Like, they're rare. Those experiences are rare. And when it comes to what you said about Phil, well, it's difficult for me. It's frustrating for me to think about that specific time because I mean, in my opinion, like, if I always reference, like, if you go back and watch that stream, like, I was telling people, like, don't listen to anything they're saying right now because it's not true. I was trying to explain to people that the internet, the Xbox brand was basically just lit on fire by the internet and by leaks that weren't supposed to happen or things that were, I remember it's like February 2024. It's like Xbox is actually dead. Like, Microsoft's considering, like, they're done with the console. They're exiting the space. They're done with exclusives, blah, blah. Like, it's just everything. And I tried telling people, like, guys, there's no chance that all of this stuff is just made up. I said it might not be as extreme, but it's not made up. I said, you look at the way people are reacting to this news. Phil Spencer announces he's doing like an Xbox podcast update. And I just told people, I'm like, listen, man, like, don't believe what they're going to tell you, because even if it is true, it's only going to be temporarily true, because they're a corporation, they're business. And I will tell you the same thing with Sony, dude. Anything that Sony tells you, take it at face value, that's fine, but understand that it could change at the drop of a dime for any reason. It's only true until it's not. You can't put some kind of trust/faith into these companies, because they're operating they're not operating based on goodwill necessarily. They will convince you at times that they are. They're operating off of numbers. The only thing that I recall hearing that I think was completely true from that podcast was when Phil was saying we're thinking about the overall health of the Xbox brand, and I think he was being like, he was trying to like, you know, hoping people can read between the lines that like, guys, we're on the fucking ropes. Okay, like we just made a $68 billion acquisition. We need to start making money fast. Okay, like the time, you know, we can't play by the same rules anymore. We can't play by the rules that people expect, and it's going to be different. And that's where I wish I would have shown a greater restraint. You know, like I say all the time, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I was behaving like a maniac that day. You know, I was all hopped up. And I get like that sometimes. I know people like it's at the very least it's entertaining. But I was like screaming into the mic, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, don't do it. I'm like, you know, I'm acting like it's like if the conspiracy guy is going to tell you a conspiracy that's actually true, but they're screaming and acting like a maniac. I mean, like, you know, they look like they're insane. Like, what you're saying could be 100% true. Nobody's going to believe you because they just think, why, you're crazy. I wish I would have handled that a little bit better and a little bit more calm, like, where it's like, hey, guys, you know this isn't true. It's fine if you want to believe it, but it's going to change in probably 6 months and probably a year. And the reason for that is because, well, honestly, I would have said at the time, I'm like, these games are probably going to do decent, at least some of them. And Sea of Thieves apparently did really well. And that was like the thing that tipped them over. But it's just like, yeah, man, it's crazy to me that like Microsoft did the right thing in the end, where like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they don't they stopped allowing the executives at Xbox to have like a parasocial relationship with the fans. You know? Hold on. I had too much protein in my system that day. Yeah, bro. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is like Microsoft, when Microsoft as a corporation got more involved with the Xbox brand, they're like, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this anymore. Like, Phil's not going to be the guy that's doing an interview every other month, you know? And if you listen to the things that Phil's been saying in the most recent interviews, which he hasn't been doing that many, but the things he's been saying is like, yeah, dude, like when he was straight up asked a couple months ago, like, are you going to keep Starfield on that? And he seemed like he got annoyed where he's like, no. I'm not, like, we're not keeping anything locked to one place. And it's like he can now just be honest, at least in that regard. And, you know, of course, Microsoft knew with the 4 games that it wasn't just going to be 4 games. The only way that could have actually been true is if all 4 of those games flopped. But even then, I wouldn't believe it, because it's like, so what do you do now? You release different games and see how they do. So, you know, this is where I'm going to try to be smarter and a little bit more thoughtful about how I'm choosing to say what I want to say, because it reminds me of, dude, I know I always hang on to this, but it's because it's something that I think highlights the type of change that needs to occur and how messed up things are. I remember in November of 2023, I had this long stream I did with you guys, and the stream was about Microsoft's CFO or Xbox's CFO talking during an investor meeting or an investor summit, basically saying that they're going to be going multi-platform and they're going to be looking to get, to increase profit margins through publishing. And I remember this was like the first inclination that, oh, whoa, hold on, are they going multi-plat? And we talked about it extensively. And one of the examples that I gave, and I talked about it in depth, I said, of course they probably want to do this. And I listed all the reasons that still exist and are still facts today, such as they aren't selling consoles. They're getting left behind. They're desperate. They're feeling they're feeling immense pressure to make more money because they just made the biggest investment in the company's history. These are all things that I stated at the time. And you know what it culminated in? Me saying, so you know what? Don't be surprised if the next Doom, for example, and Doom the Dark Ages wasn't even announced at this point. This was November of 2023. Don't be surprised if they're like, that's going to be a multi-plat game. Because it's already seen as a multi-plat game. Why would we reject that money from PlayStation when we need to make more money and make more sales? And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I remember that I got dragged on the internet for saying that. I got made fun of. I got told all the stuff that you guys see. This is why when I tell you guys, I read the messages where you guys are saying I'm tired of these individuals who keep making stuff up, twisting stuff, manipulating, and doing anything they can to remain relevant while simultaneously doing it at the expense of a group of people. Yeah, like the pony port begging and shit. But you know what? At the end of the day, I was 100% correct. To a T. Do you think that matters now to any of those people? No, because they did what they needed to do at that time to achieve their goals. But that's what I keep in mind, is that all these different times, it's not about taking a victory lap. It's about trusting myself and my intuition. Where it's like, at that time, I knew what I was looking at, where I'm like, they're getting ready to go multi-plat. You're going to be playing the next Doom on PlayStation. And then a couple months later, when I went to tune into that Xbox podcast, I'm like, that's not just going to be 4 games. And frankly, you're being silly if you believe that. I didn't present it that way. I was very intense with it the way I presented it, and I get that. When you approach topics with that level of intensity, people want you to be wrong because they don't like the energy you're bringing, and I get that. But these are just all things that I keep in mind. That, it's like I said yesterday, man. I woke up a couple days ago to seeing people acting shocked that Microsoft raised their prices and made it clear that, like, guys, we need to start making more money on our products. We need to start making more money on our games. We need to start making more money on every console sale we may get, accessory sale. And, I was watching people lose it, like, oh my God, I like, they're in such shock. Like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. And it's like, they've always, like, it's Microsoft, dude. They've always been this way. They've never not been this way. Literally. I say this, like, I've been following Microsoft closely for well over a decade, like longer than a decade. Well over a decade. I've been following the gaming division of Microsoft very well. But specifically, even just looking at Microsoft as a corporation, I'm like, they've always been this way. So it's not even about it being good or bad. It's about what, like, why are you acting shocked? And that's why I tried to call it out a little bit yesterday, where it's like, you're acting shocked because you were probably the type of person that decided to run with the narrative that they're such a pro-consumer company. And it's like, listen, I'm not saying that Game Pass isn't pro-consumer. And I gave Microsoft a massive W today for being pro-consumer. Hey, if you bought the Gears of War Ultimate Edition digitally, free upgrade to this big remaster, massively pro-consumer. That's awesome. Tip of the hat to you. Sony, take notes. Nintendo, take notes. Absolutely. So it's not to say that Microsoft's never been pro-consumer or never is. They certainly have been for a while with Game Pass. But I always just tried to tell people, like, just be careful how much you choose to fall for that. And when I say fall for it, I mean, like, really let yourself lean into it, where it's like, eventually it's going to snap back. You know, the reality is going to come back where it's like, oh, wait, that's right. You know, they also want to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's business. That's the business world. It's just been, you know, disappointing, I guess is the word to use, to see how many people, like, kind of were apparently slapped in the face or, like, abruptly pushed with that knowledge of, like, yeah, like, dude, you think Microsoft just wants to keep bleeding money? No. Just like Sony doesn't. Just like Nintendo doesn't. Microsoft is going to be raising the prices for PlayStation fans because if you have Game Pass, the games are in the service. Well, Piper, the thing about that is rumor has it, and we'll see if it turns out true or not, rumor has it that Game Pass's price is going to go up, and I wouldn't be even remotely surprised. I'm not going to argue with people either. Like, if Game Pass goes up in price to $30 tomorrow, I'm not going to be like, LOL, you know, like, sucks to be a Game Pass subscriber. Like, no, because you know what you're going to see? You're going to see people come out and they're going to be like, still worth it. And you know what I'm going to tell them? Good for you. Enjoy it. Just don't come at me for buying my games. I'm not going to come at you. I'm not going to go at you for subscribing. Don't come at me for buying. Right? I think we can just all reach a point of agreement where we're going to pay to play. Right? This is where I'm saying, like, this is the time to cut through the bullshit. Where it's like, if somebody says, I'm going to buy a game for 60, 70, or $80 to play it, and then somebody says, well, I'm going to subscribe for $20 a month to play it, there's no reason to argue that, because it's like, both options exist right now. Right now. You don't have to buy this Gears of War game if you want to play it. Beast mode. I'm curious, what clip are you talking about? I am curious. But, like, that's the thing, right? Like, if you want to buy a game, buy a game. You have plenty of options of where you can buy that game. If you want to be on a service like Game Pass, you know, go ahead. And that's where I just realized, like, where's the fight? Like, what are we supposed to be fighting for exactly? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I find myself getting confused these days, where it's like, Game Pass exists. Game Pass is fine. Game Pass is in many different places. PlayStation exists. PlayStation is fine. PlayStation is all over the place. I don't know. You fight for our deity, Sony. Anyway, yeah, man, it's interesting. It's interesting, but it's also over, right? Like, it's over. Yo, you tagged me in the comment, Beast Mode. Let me see. I have all my Yeah, Beast Mode, I'm sorry, man. I have all of my notifications are turned off. So, yeah, you either have to give me more detail or I'm not going to be able to find it, man. I'm sorry. Where are we at? Okay, so guys, we're going to be streaming for a couple more minutes here before we move to the members lounge. So if you could do me a favor and hit that like button if you haven't. But I also want to do a last call. Guys, we're at 26 members. If you want to give other people access to the members lounge, consider dropping a member gift. Consider becoming a member if you're able to. But if you want, you know, drop some more member gifts before we wrap this up. We're going to head over to the members lounge very soon. Or if you want to drop any more super chats or anything like that, now is the time to do it. How can you send it to me? It's kind of a lot to type. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know that you'll be able to. Well, I will say this. I appreciate you defending me or trying to defend me, Beast Mode, but it's not necessary because you know what? Like, no amount of ranting is gonna make certain people be like, you know what? You're right, MBG. I know. You're talking about like the context and stuff. I get that too. It's okay though. It's okay because it's one of these things where we could be here having. I'll put it to you this way, Beast Mode. The past couple of weeks, what have we been doing? We've been on the channel, I mean. We've been talking about games that have been releasing. I've been reviewing games. I've been talking about games. We've been having deeper discussions about games. We've been talking about certain news topics, everything else. Everything else. And I'm nowhere to be found in any of these places. Nowhere. And see, I'm not going to go in the direction you think I'm going to go in, where I'm going to say, and that's their fault. No. See, at some point, the best thing to do is to take personal responsibility and accountability. If you really want to solve a problem, that's usually the best way to go about it. Because yes, you can't change people, and you can't change what people are going to do. You can't control what people are going to do. But what I do know is that yesterday, when I went into my stream, I did so allowing certain things that I read, certain things that I watched, certain things that I came across to be present in my mind. And I felt like, you know what? I got something to say about this. And that's the mistake I made. In my opinion. And I know if you liked the content, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's definitely entertaining. I understand that. I'm going off, I'm sounding off, and I know people like that. But it's like, you know what? I made the mistake of giving, again, it's like I said earlier, I gave people on the internet who don't like me, who will never like me, who will never like us. They will never respect my channel. They'll never respect my content. They'll never respect anybody on my channel. They'll never respect me. They'll never respect any of my opinions, even if they agree with them. They never will. I gave them the time of day. I let that be in my mind as I went to go converse with the people who do matter. The opposite of those people. Those of you who do respect me, or at least care enough to, hey, I want to hang out. I want to listen to what you have to say. Let's talk games. And you guys deserve better than that. Like, flat out, that's what it boils down to. You guys deserve better than that. Because at the end of the day, man, like, I tell you all the time, like, we are here, at least I think all of us are here. Maybe, I mean, I don't know that I could speak for literally every single person that's tuned into the channel. We're here because we love video games. We also share commonality in that we happen to really like PlayStation. You know, specifically like in the video game space. But these leeches, these people who are so insignificant, and the only reason they get any attention is because they're loud, they're obnoxious, or they only focus on the drama, the unnecessary, asinine, immature drama that's derived from video games, of all things. Of all the things you could be, truly dramatic about. And I'm not trying to downplay video games, because I'm actually going to have a different conversation with you guys in the members lounge about video games. Video games should not be downplayed. Video games have the power to move people, man. Absolutely. They can be very impactful. But don't fight fire with fire. Nope. Nope, you fight fire with water, bro. I always thought that that saying was funny. Like, don't fight fire with fire. It's like, no, you fight it with water. But in this case, it's like, you know what they say, it's like pick and choose your battles. And one of the biggest mistakes I make is I continue to try to pick battles that I know I'm not going to win, because I don't have it in me to stoop to that level. 90% of content right now online is about drama. I know. And yeah, it's definitely festering, and it's almost unavoidable. I hate to say it, it's almost unavoidable. MBG versus 100 Gorillas. Thank you, Knife Cypher. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Alien Isolationist game. I'm sorry. I know I came back around. I know. It's because I was responding to another chat. I did have this conversation already. I did. I shouldn't repeat it. 100 of us versus MBG. I'd still lose big time. Don't be so hard on yourself. They have no right to get a sorry from you. Look at how despicable and toxic they are. They want you to pull down to their disgusting level. Well, see, that's the thing, man. It's not that I'm not apologizing to them, because yeah, there's nothing to apologize for. I'm apologizing to my own audience, and I'm apologizing to myself, where it's like, bro, you're better than that. Come on. Like, don't. Just don't. You're better than that. Anyway, guys, with that being said, we are going to move over to the members lounge for a little bit. There are definitely a couple things I want to talk to you guys about there. It's been a while since we did the members lounge. We're going to be bringing back members content, like I said, throughout the month of May. Had to take a little break in April. But yeah, so guys, if you are a channel member, that as soon as the stream ends, that one's going to go up. I hope to see you over there. But before I head out, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who showed support today. If you dropped any membership gifts, if you became a member, if you dropped any super chats, if you dropped any direct donations, I just want to make sure to give you a big thank you, because I'm only able to do what I do here with, with your support. Fighting fire with fire comes from the 19th century settlers doing controlled burns so they didn't have major blazes. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I actually didn't know that's exactly where it came from. I always knew that was a thing, like controlled burning. And I guess that adds up. Damn, well, there we go. I guess, yeah, you can fight fire with fire then. There you go. It's got to be controlled. But anyway, also want to give a thank you and a shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the stream. So if you guys see him in the comments, give him some thanks. I know he appreciates it. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up. To all my members, I'll see you in just a couple minutes. To everybody else, I will see you hopefully back here tomorrow with another stream. And hopefully we can finally talk about whether or not we're going to get that PlayStation Showcase. So, all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Hit that like button on your way out, and I will catch you in the next one. Till then, take care, everyone.